Okay, so we've seen episode 3 now. It is the one episode that is beginning the most notoriety throughout the seasons. Took 55 days to record this 82-minute episode. Did it live up to the hype, boys?
Absolutely not. 55 days. What a waste. They could have at least turned some fucking lights on.
I've heard multiple sources that it was just like super dark the whole time. We had to actually move from the downstairs TV to the upstairs TV because there was any amount of glare was ruining the watching experience. Like you couldn't see things.
That's insane. There's no excuse for that. HBO had $10 million per episode to spend on this. Bring in some fucking spotlights.
The majority of the U.S. thought something was wrong with their television.
Multiple accounts on this. So it didn't live up to the hype, according to you guys. But Mark, did you say it didn't live up to the hype, or did you like it?
I enjoyed it. There was definitely some things throughout the episode that I had a problem with, such as the first 15 minutes or so. And actually was listening to a few other podcasts today regarding the episode. And surprisingly, a lot of people didn't mind it. They kept talking about how great the production quality and how awesome the overall episode was, and relating it to like a cinematic type of movie, I would say. I just didn't feel that way, and I know Smithers for a fact didn't feel that way at all.
That's just insane to me. How can you look at what was on screen and say that it was well done?
They did a lot of close-ups and a lot of shaky cam, I feel. That was a little unnecessary. But the first 15 minutes were all building the stakes, building the tension.
The true hero of this episode is the guy that does the score, and I need to look up his name because I'll totally butcher it if I don't, but he used silence properly at the right times. Towards the end, when John is battling the ice dragon, it's the same guy who does the score for Westworld, and you can totally tell, like, the Venn diagram there has a way, way big overlap, and it was really well done, really helped to build the tension.
Was he doing the score when the Night King was raising his hands and reviving a lot of the...
Yeah, he did all of it. His name is Ramin Djawadi. He wins Emmys all the time and stuff. He's excellent at what he does, So
what are some missed opportunities that you guys felt throughout this episode?
Well, let me say just another missed opportunity is not even having a title for the episode. It was episode 70, just like it was the last episode when it was episode 69. Do you guys have any idea what's going on? I don't know why they can't just put in a title when they publish these episodes.
Pretty sure this had a title. Wasn't it like something?
It was the Battle
Darkness?
of Winterfell. Oh, no. I didn't see a title.
Now it does, but when I streamed it on HBO Go, it said episode 70. And it did the same thing the last episode when I streamed it. It just said episode 69.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, man. If that's your biggest complaint, then...
yeah, I'm over it.
I don't know what you're paying attention to. It was called The Long Night.
Okay, there's your question was answered.
So how about I get some actual complaints then?
Seriously, my big complaint was there was no zombie Hodor. How are you going to not have Hodor make an appearance in this episode?
You know how far he would have had to go to make it all the way to Winterfell from... where were they even when he was holding the door?
They were way beyond the wall, but all the whites that were there all made it, presumably.
Yeah, but you don't know where they came from. They didn't really do that with anyone except for moment of silence for my girl, Lyanna Mormont.
Oh, yeah.
She at least got the death that she deserved, which is an extremely badass one. I'm very sad that she won't be the one sitting on the Iron Throne at the end of this season because she deserves it.
She does. And, when she did die, I didn't think she died right away. And then Stark is like, yo, her spine was crushed.
Yeah, the bone cracking thing kind of gave that away for me.
Yeah, but I was like, dude, no, now Bran's got a girlfriend. They're just both going to be in wheelchairs. But no, she's freaking gone.
Yeah, that was extremely unexpected. Both of you guys got that wrong when we did our poll for Instagram.
Yeah, great poll, by the way. Nicely done.
57% of people that participated in our poll thought Lyanna Mormont would die.
What kind of psycho would have pegged the Night King to be the one that dies, though?
I have no idea.
Were you satisfied with the lore behind the Night King not being really explained? I had to
More
throw
like
that in there.
The boar.
Yeah.
I was happy that it was Arya that did the killing. I'm totally fine with that. But it was so anticlimactic. Now we'll never have any sort of motivations for anything. I still don't know where the fuck she came from. Brick, you and I are probably going to have to argue about that, but the funniest thing I saw on Reddit today is someone drew a stick figure picture and the title was like, everybody was asking where Bran was or what he was doing when he was warging as the Ravens, and it's just like a shitty stick figure drawing of Ravens carrying Arya over the Night King and dropping her on top of him.
Oh my god.
Which is the only way that fucking angle made any sense. She had more air than fucking Vince Carter in the dunk contest.
Dude, yeah, they had a platform, like when they actually shot, to get the angle. That's what I saw in some sort of post afterwards. I was confused, like, throughout, like, how she even got there. Because the funniest meme I saw was the one where LeBron blames. He's like, what are you doing? Just like, you're looking at his teammates, and just had the Night King looking at all of his stooges, being like, how are you going to let someone get behind the defense like this? You kidding me?
They're all so aware of everything, like hyper sensitive to anything going on around them, and she just totally snuck up on them.
Oh yeah, played him like a freaking goofy.
At least give him a sword fight or something.
But I did like the callback to the dropping the knife kill.
From Brienne?
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Can you attribute that whole kill Arya had for the Night King solely due because she was laid the night before?
Her mind was clear.
Gendry got that magic dick, man.
It could be.
You guys love Gendry, and now you're attributing the kill of the Night King to Gendry. This is absurd. You guys are lunatics.
We're not the lunatics.
I love Bran.
Lunatics are the ones on Twitter calling her like a Mary Sue and shit like that. She's been a badass for a long time. Just get over it.
Seriously, always.
Let's get back to what bothered you. I will not mention the episode just having a number, but what really bothered me is when Dany, in the first, let's say, 10 minutes, when they were starting to actually charge against the Wall of Winterfell, against the castle walls, where the hell was she? They were all climbing up those walls, and I get they were still stuck in that blizzard. At least 15 minutes or so had passed, and she could have just incinerated all of those walkers.
Dude, she's pissing me off. She and Jon totally fucked up this entire battle. She freaked out because all of her Dothraki soldiers got murdered immediately, as of course they were going to. And then she just charges off into battle, which means that Jon obviously has to follow her, even though he didn't really, and it would have made more sense for him not to. She's really pissing me off.
Are we to assume that Ghost is alive? Because we see him charge into battle with Jorah.
Ghost is alive. You saw him in the episode preview for next week.
Okay, I didn't notice that. Nice.
Yeah.
What a waste. Yeah, that's another part that irked me was Ghost wasn't even... You saw him growling once, and then he just was alive after all that. Like, no, it just didn't make sense to me. Give me some wolf kills, man. We've been waiting years for this.
If we're going to talk about people or animals or whatever that should have died, pretty much everybody at one point in this episode was completely surrounded and had no way out, and somehow they managed to survive anyways.
I mean, they raised the stakes in different ways. Like, they gave us a little bit of hope with lighting the Dothraki swords on fire. They gave us hope when Drogon was using Dracarys and burning up the Night King. But then they also raised the stake when the Night King wasn't killed, and he raised the dead right around Jon. Like, people were supposed to get killed. And if it really was a true George R.R. Martin written show, people would have died. I feel like the writers are getting a little scared and want to tie everything up in a nice little neat bow. But I think there should have been more deaths.
It's not even just that, but think about Theon. They're in the werewood. They have this zoom around shot where it shows hundreds of whites running directly at him in the Ironborn. And then smash cut to him, and he shoots like 3 arrows, and they're all dead.
Yeah, and they literally had, we'll have 20 bows, so we can kill 20 people if we hit all of our shots. Like, there was hundreds of whites surrounding them, I agree.
He had a clan with him, though, and I wouldn't say it was just 3. I mean, he probably had about 10 kills or so that he did solely with the bow, but he also had some kills.
Have you rewatched it yet?
I've not rewatched it. Pay
Pay attention to that this time around, because that's what happens several times. It's not just him. It's Beric Dondarrion was there. Jorah eventually gets killed, so I'll let that one slide. Also, I'm sorry. When did Dany learn how to wield a sword?
Heat of the moment, man. You kind of just got to roll with the punches. She's not going to just stand there behind Jorah. Like, you're going to throw some daggers.
That was fucking
Point him with the
absurd.
sticky end. Point him with the sharp end.
Anyway, stick him with the pointy end, not point him with the sticky end. Close enough.
Is it safe to say that we all knew they were all fucked right at the beginning when the Dothraki, when all the flames started to go out in the distance? Was that the point where you knew they were done, pretty much?
I thought that was probably the best scene in the entire episode. That's probably not true because Arya finishing off the Night King was probably the best scene, but that one was definitely second place.
I thought that was the most hype. It was like we went from like it was a roller coaster ride of like, oh, sick, like they have a chance to win. Look at these flaming swords, and then it's just like, oh, every light flashed out, and that was the cool part about having it be so dark was it illuminated, the flaming swords, but then it just was like a little over the top with the darkness.
Yeah, the rest of the episode, if they would brightened it after that, would have been fine. You mentioned earlier they had two of my biggest pet peeves are blurry cam and shaky cam, and they had blurry shaky cam.
And close-ups. Plenty of it. And it was too dark, so it was even worse.
What'd you think about the scene when the Dothraki were rushing in, and it was completely dark, of course, and they quickly just showed, I believe it was the white troll, or the giant, or whatever you want to call him, where they quickly just showed it real quick, flashed it, and then it was back to like where Winterfell was.
Well, the reason that's cool is because of the contrast. And there was contrast there because of all the flames. And obviously, I mean, that's like a terrifying thing. It's like in a horror movie when you flip on the light and flip it off real quick and there's a fucking ghost there. It was like that. But this is the opposite of that. They got rid of that contrast completely after the scene with the Dothraki, which I guess leads us to what we should be talking about with Melisandre.
The hero of the entire show, more or less.
I mean, she's the reason they're all alive, pretty much. And even if the Dothraki all died horrible deaths, she still got everybody pretty pumped up. And
yeah, sorry.
When she was walking out to light those stakes on fire, like, how about a little bit of fucking hustle out of you, you old bitch?
Dude, seriously, man. Seriously.
She had fantastic composure, though. She just was like, here's what we got to do. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, until she gets her hand on it. And then all of a sudden she's like, I got to do this chant really quick, because I walk so fucking slow to get here.
It was her one defining moment, really, of the episode. So
no,
she had multiple. She had multiple.
Her one defining moment was the speech that she gave Arya.
Okay, I guess actionable moments where she actually did shit, not just said shit.
So let's get to that. Then. How did Arya get behind, the defense and make the game-saving kill?
I don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to ask you both, if they don't go back and address that in a future episode, are you just going to be okay with it?
I am, because shout out to the Bacoons, because they gave me this theory.
They for sure read it on some
No, Bacoons
Reddit.
don't read things, so and they don't do Reddit. This was organic through their brains. I used to watch it with them, so they catch on the details. They're very detail-oriented people. Anyway, right when Arya sees Beric Dondarrion basically was dying for the reason, and Melisandre gave her that little speech, she goes, "You wear many masks or many faces, brown eyes, green eyes," and then pauses and goes, "blue eyes." So I think she's the one who wore a white's mask. And later on in the episode, you see all the whites are looking forward, and there's one white that's like looking in a different direction, which I guess is, you can assume that that's going to be Arya. And so that's how
controlled.
Because she's not controlled. And that's how she gets behind the Night King and kind of makes the move.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of connecting dots there. And
Absolutely.
If they don't come out and absolutely verify that, then I'm going to call bullshit.
Wow.
And also, Melisandre doesn't say you wear many colors eyes. She said, like, you're going to make many eyes go dark or something like that. This is a callback to something from when they met in season 6.
Okay.
I know what you're saying. And yes, that is obviously foreshadowing to her going to kill the Night King.
Yeah, it was season 3, but yes, there was definitely a moment where they had that same interaction.
Yeah, the funny thing is, when I thought one of my favorite scenes in the show was when Arya is in the narrow hallways and like of Winterfell, and she kind of has that zombie like walking around scene, and
the Velociraptor scene.
The Velociraptor scene,
Park.
Perfect. That's a great analogy right there. I thought out loud, like, oh, why don't you just put on one of their faces? And then I didn't even connect the dots until the Bacoons were like arguing with amongst each other about if this point is right or not. And I was like, oh, damn, that actually does make a lot of sense. It has to. There's no other way around it. I've heard some theories that Arya dropped from the trees or some shit.
There were no trees.
Well,
they show a shot. They show an overhead shot. There's no trees anywhere near where he would have been.
I agree. I'm over it. I'm with the Bacoon theory.
Mark, if they don't answer this definitively, are you just okay with it?
Well, there's that one big ass tree, right? And you don't think there's an overarching branch that could go that far?
I will send you some screen grabs of like the overhead shot, and you'll be like, no, there's no way there's fucking trees there.
You hate this right now.
And fuck Bran.
Yeah, let's get back to the point with Melisandre real quick. So I think this is one thing that is highly debated right now on Twitter is obviously the brown, blue, and green eyes. So brown eyes, everyone's saying Walder Frey. I wouldn't disagree with that. Blue eyes, yes, she's going to kill the Night King, go after the Night King, whatever. The green eyes. So a lot of people obviously are going to say Cersei.
Yeah.
Do you think the green eyes, however, was already related back to Littlefinger when she killed him? Because it was specifically mentioned in, I believe, his official, I don't know, some bio or some shit. They specifically mentioned how he had green eyes.
I think that's a good point, especially Melisandre lists it brown, green, and blue as if it would be a little too much for Arya to be able to take down everybody. You know, there's too many characters to have good redemption arcs.
Yeah, somebody else has to kill Cersei. I think it should be Sansa, because she's got the most vendetta out there. Knowing how twisted and shitty these guys want to be for writers, it's probably going to have to be Jaime.
That, yeah, and because they were twins, and she was born before Jaime, so the prophecy is still intact if Jaime kills her or Tyrion.
I don't think Tyrion's going to get that opportunity, but we'll see.
Did you guys like the Theon moment?
Did Theon get redeemed, or did Bran play him like a goofy?
I don't think Bran played him. Bran probably, for all intents and purposes, thought he was going to die right there.
Yeah, he said thank you. He basically was telling him thank you for dying right now.
So Bran didn't know, he didn't know that Arya, doesn't he know all things in the past and like present?
I don't buy that shit. Fuck Bran. He's a goober.
Dude.
I don't give a shit about him.
Dude, Bran is going to sit on the Iron Throne.
If that happens, then this show is ruined.
I agree. So you thought, did Theon get redeemed?
I think so.
I think he was probably redeemed before, but this was kind of the icing on the cake.
That's a fair assessment.
And now Sansa doesn't have to worry about him not having a wiener because she can't bang him anyways.
She could, but I mean, it would be awkward.
So speaking of Sansa, she had a moment with Tyrion in the crypts.
Yes. How did you feel about that one?
I felt like Missandei really killed the vibe there. They had something going on, and she's like, well, if it wasn't for Dany, we'd all be dead. Like, all right, cool.
Yeah, super butthurt. But I thought it was a nice moment. They said it without saying words, which is hard to do when it comes to acting. You know, Tyrion, this is a Wilpo quote here, but he's like, Tyrion was always sweet on her, and she was a little shit, but she endured literally every hardship imaginable. And then at that moment, she finally realized he was a good guy. Having said all of that with just words, I thought it was pretty powerful.
You think she realized he was a good guy? I disagree with that.
She had that moment with, was it Dany before when she was talking about what a good person he was? Yeah, because then she says, well, that's not why I asked him to be my hand. So I think she already was of that notion.
I think a lot of that was still said. Like she still was kind of, you know, distasteful toward him, especially when they first met back in Winterfell. I think that was a big moment without words that being said. Also, Wilpo has a prediction that they are the ones that sit on the Iron Throne. That's his take.
They being
Tyrion and Sansa.
They share it. They literally squeeze their butt cheeks in and share that together.
The
Tyrion
co-throne
could just sit on her lap.
True.
If he honestly feels that way, then he should play some bets in Vegas because those odds are very long.
I'll tell him.
Do you guys get to talk about the episodes at work? Do you have a coworker that watches as well, and you look forward to it every morning?
I can't let everyone in my office know what a gigantic nerd I am, so I just keep it to myself, and I stay on Twitter.
I don't currently work, so nope.
There are so many people out there that if you say one negative thing about an episode of Game of Thrones, will just fucking pile on you on Twitter. And Brick, I really thought that was going to be you this episode.
Amazing.
And you were going to defend this to the end, but I mean, at least you understand that it was too dark to see anything.
Yeah, no, it was very dark. Very, very dark.
So the only possibility, the reason I mentioned that earlier is the only possibility I think Tyrion might actually sit on the throne is if they somehow find out that he actually isn't the son of, what's his first name?
Tywin?
His dad. But yeah, he's not the son of Tywin. He's actually the son of the Mad King who had an affair with Tywin's wife, with his mom.
But he definitely is Tywin's son because his mom died giving birth to him.
Yeah, but Tywin was just mad at him because he knew that that wasn't actually his son, but never said anything. He just treated him like the piece of shit son when really he was just a bastard.
A reverse Jon Snow.
Just buy it, dude. It might happen.
I'm selling that one too, unfortunately. But he does touch the dragon, which is rare, right?
He if he rides the dragon, I might be onto something, or my coworker might be onto something, but I'm taking credit.
Okay.
Let's talk about some of these deaths. Were any of them surprising? I guess no death is surprising in Game of Thrones, right? Except for probably the Night King. The Night King was the most surprising.
That was the most surprising, but honestly, I was more surprised that there weren't as many deaths.
Yeah, there should have been way more. And Samwell Tarly, he has more lives than a cat. Because
Actually.
Jon Snow, by the way, left him to die. That's going to be a really, really weird reunion when they get back together. But Sam
he wasn't
even
on
there.
his feet. Last time we saw him in the episode, the last scene we see him, he wasn't even on his feet. Wasn't he just laying on like a bunch of walkers and they were still trying to grab him and shit?
Yes.
And John just like ran by him.
He was just laying down.
And he's like, John, John, save me. And then John just walks right by him.
Oh my God. What was the saddest death? Was it Beric?
No, it was Lady Mormont.
Or was it Jorah just dying in the friend zone?
Nope, Lyanna Mormont.
It was Jorah friend zoned for sure. He knew he wasn't getting any from a long time ago, and he still just like did his best.
I don't know, when Drogon wrapped around him and just kind of comforted Dany when he died, that was cute.
There's 2 dragons left, right?
Yes, Rhaegar and Drogon are still alive, I believe.
Okay, so Viserion's gone. He's no more Blue Eyes White Dragon for Mark. Who else died? Beric Dondarrion. Can any of you explain to me how he ended up in that fucking room after he was holding back all of those whites?
I have no idea.
No, there was a time warp, man, because they were literally 20 to 30 steps ahead of him, and then they all got out at the same time.
And he's back getting stabbed in his Jesus Christ pose. Like what do they? I mean, do they think that nobody's going to go through these episodes with a fine-tooth comb and look through all this shit?
Too many people are going to do that. It's unfortunate. My question is, Melisandre kept saying that he was raised from the dead for a purpose, and his purpose was served to save Arya. But like, Jon Snow was raised as well. Like, where does his...
To take the throne. That's his purpose.
That's his purpose? Or I thought this was all in relation to the Night King. If there was still a purpose out there, she wouldn't have killed herself.
I have no idea, dude. This is all stuff that we're probably not even going to answer to now because nobody cares about the White Walkers anymore because they were such a fucking straw man of an enemy.
Seriously. They were very strong, but then, yeah, one poke and you was gone forever. Everybody.
And the worst part is King's Landing is going to be like, nope, that never happened. They're just going to completely deny it. That's what I'm kind of pissed about is they never encountered White Walkers.
That's not true. Cersei saw one.
Cersei saw one, and that was Dany and Jon and everybody went beyond the wall, did that heroic quest to grab one to prove it to Cersei, and then she didn't even help anyway. And now they lost the dragon, and because they lost the dragon, they lost the wall, which was basically everything. So, can we hate Cersei more?
Well, it doesn't matter. The wall's not there anymore, though, because there's no more White Walkers.
Well, yeah, but that's the reason that they were able to cross so easily, is because they had a dragon to break down the wall.
I mean, yeah, Cersei sucks, and she's banging an even worse person.
Oh, yeah, Euron.
I'm just going to start calling him Euron Greyjoy.
That's how you say
He's
it.
a little piss boy.
Piss boy. I'm sold on that.
All right, so the only thing that matters, really, is that we can still get Sandor versus Gregor Clegane.
Clegane Bowl.
Let's go. That's the only thing that fucking matters, because the Hound was a huge pussy in this episode.
Wow.
He got scared straight, and it was unfortunate. I didn't like how when he was running back from, the whites outside of the castle. First of all, they shouldn't have had anybody outside the castle. That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But to look up and see Arya like snipe a white and save his life, like there's a million things going on. He's not going to take the time to stand up there, look up, see who shot it. Like that was a little too. The writers had to make sure that Clegane knew it was Arya. Like that that bothered me. And
He paid her back later, though.
He did.
Bailed her out.
They didn't need to have him looking up and seeing it,
No argument here.
Gratuitous.
All right, so what happens next?
All right, well, how many people are alive in Winterfell still to fight? Like 40?
It's a good question.
Seriously, that was an absolute onslaught. I'm looking forward to next episode, like the community's response to Arya killing the Night King. Like, that's legend status.
Dude, they better have a fucking explanation as to how she did that.
There has to be.
If they just ignore it, that'll be the worst piece of writing ever.
Yeah.
The Dothraki are gone. Are the Unsullied gone as well? Like, who's left?
Grey Worm's still alive.
I think they still have like half of about the Unsullied or some shit. There's got to be some sort of remnants of an army. Otherwise, this is going to be an absolute onslaught.
You know what's weird, though, is that, I mean, isn't it like a 2-week journey from Winterfell to King's Landing? Are we just going to have to watch them on the trail to get down there now?
No, they do a really good job of quick cutting just being places. Like, they went from King's Landing to, Winterfell in the snap of an eye. So I'm not worried about that.
Maybe they'll just tie a rope to the belly of the dragons and just have a big-ass basket and load everyone up there, and they'll just fly to Winterfell.
Wow, it sounds like you could actually write for Game of Thrones.
Did Cersei get her elephants? Do we know?
I don't think so.
Did you see elephants in the preview for episode 4?
No.
I didn't.
I'm assuming if they do get the elephants, though, it's going to be... They're going to strap those giant dragon-killing machines on top of there, and then that's how they're going to, take down the dragons with these famp elephants.
Now that I'm thinking of all the creatures, so back to Viserion and Rhaegal when they were fighting in the air, that was actually a decent scene, I thought, with Jon Snow. But I was really surprised that Viserion wasn't dead and he was somehow back out of nowhere. Like, at one point, Rhaegal had him in his jaws. And then they cut to a different scene. And I was like, what the fuck happened? Viserion's now just shooting his winter flames on everyone now? Like, where did he even come from?
Is that better or worse than being surrounded, literally, by White Walkers or by whites and still being able to get out of it?
Jon Snow's a badass.
It happened to literally everybody in that episode.
Good
and
point.
Everyone still survived.
Even Drogon was on the ground. I'm like, get off the ground, and was just getting bombarded with walkers. Yes, there was a lot of parts in this episode that were what the fuck moments. Why are you doing that moments?
Yeah, I just got a lot of fucking problems with this episode, man.
But overall, it was still a good episode, but I'm still just like, I agree, there should have been more. I thought it would have been a cool little treat if right at the end, right when Jon was about to, he's like, fuck this, I'm going to take this dragon head on, which was ultimate psycho move. If the dragon actually breathed fire on him and then he like survived, showing that he's a true Targaryen and it's the unburnt, I thought that would have been a cool little homage or a cool little way to, show he was a true Targaryen. But I think that theory would have been ripped apart because people were like, oh, he was breathing ice, so it wouldn't have counted. Wow.
I mean, it's not like ice can't kill you, but hypothermia is not as cool of a way to go out as dragon fire.
Yeah, but if he survived because he was a Targaryen and he can't be burnt, would have been sweet.
Well, that would have been cool if everybody around had seen it and been like, yo, Jon, what the fuck?
Yeah, nobody was there.
But Sam probably would have saw it because he was just laying in there basking in,
But he already
blood.
knows. Like, who gives a shit if he sees it?
That'd have been the problem. Yeah. Jon, why y'all naked? He's just naked. Everyone else is like happy, clothless.
So the least appreciated death ever is Dolorous Ed?
Who?
Exactly. He's from the Night's Watch. He saved Sam Tarly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the common thought on that is
he was kind of a
saved
dick.
a main character and he's kind of a badass, but also who?
He's kind of a dick too. He was a dick the whole time to Sam. I mean, I would have been a dick to Sam too, honestly, but irrelevant character. I was over it. Where was Giantsbane, Titty Boy?
He was out there fighting. He got a couple scenes. You just had to look really close because it was fucking pitch black.
Yeah, he was basically backed into a corner with Brienne of Tarth.
Ooh.
That's how he wants to go.
I'm sure you'd like that. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, so Jaime and Giantsbane are still alive. Are there going to be a lover's quarrel for Brienne or what?
I'd watch that fight.
That'd be very nice to see. We'll find out.
Last bit, I laughed out loud when the Hound called Beric Dondarrion a stupid whore. It's the dumbest fucking thing ever. Like, what? That's the best you could think of? Just call him a cocksucker or something, man. You call him a whore?
That makes that even better, though. I love it.
He didn't even say, like, your mom's a whore. He's just like, you're a whore.
It's heat of the moment, and you know how he feels about heat, so...
Yeah, the only thing I have left to say is that I hope next week's episode is better than this one.
But it's all 82 minutes or 80 minutes plus from here on out. 3 episodes left.
20 minutes of that is just going to be Bran staring at people like over their shoulder, breathing out of his mouth.
You know, I'm surprised. I won't say it because it's Endgame. This is an Endgame spoilers. Never mind. And I'm still buttered I didn't get to go on that episode.
Yeah, we didn't want your shitty takes there.
But I had great takes.
The reason why I'm so underwhelmed by this is because the hype was so big. Coming off of Endgame and having the hype fulfilled made this worse.
No, 100%. And having stakes actually raised and at a cost, and having like your watching come to like a full conclusion for Endgame, and then to go to this and just have it be fumbling in the dark is trash.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm still very excited for the next 3 episodes we're getting.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'll be lined up waiting.
As much as we're ripping on this episode, I still loved it. And my butt was clenched the entire time.
It was completely redeemed at the end. I loved the Arya part. She was definitely the one. If there was anyone to kill the Night King, yes, she needed to be the one. So I don't care who you are. Smithers had problems with where the fuck did she come from. I completely get that. But at the same time, when she dropped that knife to her other hand, I was like, oh my God.
The pros of pros, baby.
It was very intense.
I'm out. When do you want to wrap this up?
Yeah, R.I.P. to the Dothraki. We're gonna miss you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you didn't live better lives.
They came so far and just were like, yep, out in a flash. See ya.
But they got their Eric's lit on fire.
Came so far, went so quick.
That was pretty lit.
Okay, that is it. That's the end of this episode right there.
And that wraps it up for our breakdown and recap of Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 3.
For the record, that was the biggest kill of this episode.
Who's the next one to die? The next one to die, like the immediate next one. Who's it going to be?
Euron Greyjoy.
Really?
Probably not. That would make me too happy.
Yeah, it's too on the nose. It's going to be the Mountain, because Clegane Bowl is going to come up.
I'm going to say Davos. Don't ask me why.
You son of a bitch.
I'm going to say Gendry. I changed mine, Gendry, because that guy didn't have a magical dick.
You guys are just doing this to piss me off.
This guy doesn't have a magical dick. He did not kill a Night King because he banged Arya. This is a fucking bogus theory. He's gone. Get him on the chopping block.
All right, whatever. We'll talk about this next week.
Cheers. I'll see you Friday in IRL.
Damn. Until next time.
Jumps out. Motherfuckers.